Director of Athletics, University of Alabama, was the AD at Mississippi State and Arizona. Greg Byrne joining us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. You're listening Out of Bounds on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Talking SEC football scheduling. Everybody's excited. June 14th around the corner. We'll see what it looks like. Smart to put it on TV and stream it, and everybody will get juiced up as Texas and Oklahoma will be coming into the league. What's more important for you and Coach Saban and your university, Greg? You mentioned it earlier. Is it the third Saturday in October, Bama, Tennessee, or Bama, LSU every year?
There's more history with the Tennessee game. That the LSU game has been a very compelling matchup. They've got a great program, great university, and fan base. But there's obviously, the Tennessee game has meant so much to both programs, and that would, if we had to choose with the 1-7, we won't be choosing. But if we had to choose, that would be the one. But they both are very important to us.
Okay. When you look at the college football playoff, and now that we're going to be going to 12 teams, which I think is good. Do you like the fact that the G5 is represented? I'd rather it be all Power 5. Do you like the fact that
I think the idea of giving one of the most important things in sports is hope, right? That every year you start the year and you think, man, I got a chance to go compete. And even last year, think about baseball where Ole Miss was the last one to get in and then they go win the national championship. You always want to have hope. And so I do think for the health of the game across the country, to where everybody at the FBS levels feels like they at least have a chance to go after the brass ring, is there's value there for the long-term health of the program. Now, what I also think is that you should put the best programs out there, and not, there's the discussion of Bama fatigue and all that. And that probably impacted us a little bit last year. And listen, everybody that was in the playoff last year had a great season, and they obviously cherished the opportunity to be
But
there.
you were one of the best four. I'll say this. Okay. You lost on the road at the end of the game twice, at Tennessee and at LSU. So now that team gets, as you know more than I do, that team gets in the new format, okay, and has a chance. You had the best quarterback in college football and has a chance to win it. But you were one of the best four teams, even though you lost on the road in Baton Rouge and Knoxville. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so I think what I just want to make sure is that it's not just hey, these guys have been here a lot before, let's take somebody else. And the College Football Playoff Committee, there's good people on there. They've got great integrity. They're gonna make sure integrity is part of the process, and hindsight's easy when you see the results of the game. So but what I do think is, one is that everybody should be treated the same every year and viewed not from what they've done in the past, but what they've done this year. Number two is, I think, and I've talked to Commissioner Sankey about it, is let's make sure that strength of schedule is part of that. So those teams that we're talking about, do you have 8 SEC games? Do you play 2 Power 5 non-conference games? Whatever your formula is, that strength of schedule is valued. And so, a loss with a 10 or 11 game SEC or Power 5 schedule should be viewed differently than somebody who's scheduled 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. And I think as long as that's part of the formula and strength of schedule is rewarded and good matchups are rewarded, I think everybody at the FBS level should be given a chance to be at least in discussion, and then make sure that we're putting aside any fatigue or anything like that could impact decision making. But I can tell you that the people with the CFP are good people. They care about it, and they're making the best decisions they can with the information that they have. But back to what we've been talking about, let's create incentive for good matchups, and I think that will help schools decide, hey, do we play 8 or 9 conference games? How many Power 5 non-conference games do we play? And if we play more of those types of games, that's good for the game of football. That's
Sure.
good for the interest level. And so I think that needs to all be part of the discussion as we move forward to what it looks like with the playoff.
Don't miss one moment of the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Weekdays, 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.